Hello, my followers. I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a great day, and I'm here to answer one question that one of my followers had for me. And it is, what are the worst and the best parts of your personality? And I really wanted to get into this question a little bit deeper and further in a broader sense of way. And see, a lot of people have this feeling that a teacher, a guru, somebody that is teaching the Word of God and representing Him and His entity should be perfect. And if they figure out anything in their personality that is not matching how they think that a teacher should look like, should dress like, should be like, or have any fault at all, they feel like, well, they're not really with God. They're not really representing God. They're just not doing right. So it goes to the extent, for example, in India, there's one teacher, female teacher, that they discovered, she's Hindu, so she is a vegetarian. And one of her devotees gave her chicken to eat. And she ate it because she didn't want to disappoint her followers, so she ate the chicken and didn't really know what it was, but she ate it because the follower put so much into this meal for her that she didn't want to reject it, and that is out of love. Now the media did a big thing about this, that she ate chicken, and a lot of other things that are happening. You discover that in the past of a pastor, for example, they have done this or that. And it's crazy how then the view, the perception of the followers changes all of a sudden, and the media maybe takes it and makes a big scandal out of it and takes that part of their personality or that part of their past and make it into a scandal and rip them and make them look like everything they have said wasn't right, wasn't true. Now, if we go into the scripture, we see that especially in the Old Testament, we can just see it, but in the New Testament as well, we're all people. No one is perfect, not even a servant of God or representative of God. Everybody has fault because we're dealing with this humanity, with this human experience. And a lot of the times we're not even aware of our divinity, and we're taken over by situations. So for example, let's go back, for example, to Abraham. Abraham was one of the greatest people in the Bible, and everybody can agree on it. It doesn't matter if we're a Muslim or a Jewish or a Christian. We all think that Abraham was one of the fathers, the forefathers, and he was a great man. Now, he was also a liar. How do you know that? He lied 2 times, and it was a really bad situation that he got himself into. 2 times. He lied about his wife, Sarah, who was the most beautiful woman, and he told, because of fear, one event was at the Pharaohs, he represented her as, he told everyone that she is his sister, because he was afraid if he says he's the husband, then he would be killed. So it even went that far that the situation really went out of the loop, totally overcame, and that the Pharaoh took Sarah, the wife of Abraham, and took her to be his wife. Now God had to intervene in a dream in the Pharaoh and tell him that woman is Abraham's wife, and if you're going to touch her, you're gonna be destroyed. Now that did it for the Pharaoh. And Abraham didn't learn from this experience. He even got blessed by the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh said, take your wife, here is some jewelries, here is great ornaments, here is wealth and riches, and just go. And he didn't learn from it. Next time he met another king of another area, he did the same thing again. And you would think he would be perfect, but he's not. Out of fear, he lied, and he had a human experience. Now we can take a lot of others. We can take King David, which was one of the greatest kings. Now he was desiring a woman that was not his, but one of his soldiers' wives. But he desired her so much that he had that soldier killed in a war, put him in the front lines so he would be killed to take her as his wife. Now that's really bad. But about David, it is said, God said about David that that is a man after my own heart. It's interesting. That's a man after God's heart, he said. And then he does that? Yes, we all have faults and mistakes. The downfall of Solomon was also women and worshiping at the end, worshiping other gods and making room for other gods. Now, all of the saints were dealing with things, or they had a past. Paul, one of the biggest person of the New Testament, writing all the letters and being the greatest missionary of the heathens, he was killing Christians before. He was one of the first ones who wanted to arrest everyone until he got thrown off his high horse by Jesus himself, who told him, you either are going to work with me here or you're going to stay blind. So he had a choice to make, and a lot of the saints, they had dealt with depression, they were liars, they were deceivers, they were even murderers. And because all of us have faults and mistakes, and that doesn't make our message and our representation of God less powerful. We all share this human experience. So it's interesting to know and to realize that despite of your faults, despite of your insufficiencies, despite of your past, you can be used by God right now. And he even turns things around for you. So what you have experienced in the past, he can turn around for the good and use that. Now let's come to my mistakes. What is the best and worst characteristic about my personality? One of the worst personality part is that I have been trained as a child to draw my value from working. So I lived with my mother. She was a single mother at one point. And if she was in a bad mood, you better were busy. Because if you were busy, you were not in trouble. If you were just laying there or enjoying yourself, you might get in trouble for just laying there or being there. So I always drew my value from hard work. And if I had a day that I would just do nothing or relax, I would have a bad conscience. Now that is trained. See, any personality can be changed. I could say, well, that's just my personality, but that's not true. It's part of what I have learned because I'm actually a divine being just like you. Because God made you after his own image. You're not imperfect, but your experience, you think that you are this person, for example, impatient, angry, or that. And it's not that you are that, because you're a divine being which is perfect, but we haven't realized it and connected to that yet. And we will never get to the point where we are totally perfect. But we can connect and heal and transform. And part of who we think we are is behaviors, habits that we have taken on after our experiences, what we have went through, what we have learned. You know, it's like I was trained, for example, as a child. I had a dad that was a math professor. And whenever he was teaching me math, and I wouldn't get it right away, I would get hit in the head, in the back of my head. Now, it's almost like if whoever took a psychology class, it's like after the method of Pavlov. Whenever you have something that you reinforce negatively all the time, the person will associate things with a negative. So every time I didn't get it right away, and my dad really explained it in a way of a math professor, so I wouldn't get it right away, I would get a slap in the back of my head. So immediately I had a feeling, and sometimes I was crying, or tears would just come to my eyes, and this would go on for years. So basically I had the association, math would get me anxiety, would get tears to my eyes, and I would immediately feel helpless, no matter if I understood it or not. It was really difficult because every time I thought of math, I got a slap in my head, basically. So I started hating math. But that's not part of my personality. It's not, that is a trained thing. And I had a heck of a time. For example, in college, I purposely took a pretty easy class because I already realized back then that that's not a good thing to, when you're confronted with math, always to get tears in your eyes. I wanted to have and get myself through a positive experience where I'm succeeding. I'm just easily succeeding in a math class, and that I would overcome these fears. Now, did I overcome it totally 100%? No, but it got a lot better. So any kind of traits that you're having, you can retrain yourself and get rid of the habits. So one of the difficulties that I'm having, and you can say it's part of my personality, but it's not really me. It's what I've been trained, is to get value from work. So I am a workaholic if I don't stop myself, because I draw value from working hard and always being busy. So on the contrary, I really have a hard time to relax and flow and to let go. I have trained myself to get better at this and to be better at it and to just flow through a day. I can do that now, but it used to be really, really hard for me to let go and just relax and not feel bad about if I'm taking a day off, for example, or if I'm just enjoying myself. So that's a bad part of my personality, if you want to say so. And one good trait that always came easily with for me, and it is also connected to this kind of work ethic, is that I'm very, very disciplined, highly disciplined person. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to say I'm going to practice a sadhana, a spiritual practice for 40 days, I'm going to pull it through no matter what, even if I don't feel like it. So that's one good aspect of having learned to work hard and to be very disciplined, but it can also be overly bad. So if you become a workaholic, so think of any trait that you're having that might be negative. that you can draw probably something positive from it. And there might be an aspect of it that is very negative. So you can retrain and reprogram yourself, and you can get better step by step. And it takes growth, it takes determination, it takes willingness to want to change and to be different. And the realization, that's the first step before anything else comes, is that that's not your personality, that's not you. For I'm a divine being. I am love, I'm peace. I am kind. I am merciful. I am graceful. I'm divine. I am a higher being with so many positive traits. The problem is that we're a lot of the times not aware. I hope this video is helping you and you're thinking a little bit about your traits. And remember that despite of your faults, God can use you anytime and wants to use you, and even take the bad experiences that you had to turn it into something beautiful. And it is possible. So I see you next week. I wish you a great day.